Recording. Hello. This is Melissa Charity with Red Hot Now, and I am thrilled to be here today with Sharon Hess, who's my spiritual mentor, and who is actually here today to talk about how to bring your spiritual gifts into the world in chaotic times. Hey, Sharon, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. I'm little, you're big. Is that okay?
That's okay. I'd have to move back and then I would just disappear because I have a lot of light coming into the room, so I'm a little washed.
You do, but it looks great. It looks like you're in the light. So
I have a halo.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad. We were talking on the phone the other day, and it inspired me to invite you on to an interview with me because you are, we're in chaotic times right now, right? Would you say? And there's
I would say the world's always in chaotic times.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah. How do people, because I think, for me, I really related to what you were saying because I, consider myself a spiritual person, and I feel very sensitive. I feel the more chaos, I feel a lot of chaos happening right now outside. And I'm very sensitive. I tend to hermit myself in and, stay inside or not communicate with people. It's like, it's hard sometimes, I feel so hypersensitive, I guess is the word. And, and you kind of like get introverted that way. Right. And so what would be a great way to kind of just get yourself out of that moment, when you want to go inside?
One of the biggest insights I ever had was, it's not about escaping the world, that you came here to help heal. Okay. So if you think about it that way, it's easy to be spiritual, right? When you're in your own little space. Okay. But you're inspired to do things that you're inspired to do because you didn't come here to be the person that sits at the mountaintop and meditates and, for lack of a better term, people always say, navel gaze. But what that means is there are people who that is their purpose. That is what they do. And it's to send out certain energetic things. You see we all know the universe is a vibrational universe. So everything is energy, right? So when we're this person and we're trying to create a spiritual business or, like we work for someone else, it doesn't really matter. But we're walking our spiritual path. I heard years ago the saying, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it, right? And I started noticing more and more that even people who are normally really spiritual and really in tune and really understand the blessings and the gratitude within this world, that they were starting to jump on the negative bandwagon and post a lot of things like, about what they don't like. In other words, just basically feeding into that negativity. And when you're walking your spiritual path, don't get me wrong, you are going to still be negative. You are going to still be sad. You are still going to have emotions. You are still going to be, empathetic. You're going to be compassionate. But the difference is, how does it truly affect you and your energies? Okay. So I put the program. Yeah. So I put the program together because I wanted to give people some tools. It's not about me. This is not, watch Sharon, she's going to, tell you all kinds of wonderful things. I can tell you everything in the world, but if you don't experience it for yourself in your own life, you're not going to embody it, right? So that's the whole thing is I want people to learn how do you embody that spirituality so that when you're living your everyday life and something wacky happens or chaotic happens, what can you do to not lose your peace and not totally swing that pendulum all the way over to where you were before you ever did any of this work.
Right, exactly. And so we're going to talk about your program in a little bit, and it's called Maneuvering Through Chaos, and I want to hear a little more about it. But, so I think, because I have a lot of friends of mine that are experiencing what you're talking about and, not wanting to give into the negativity, right? Because then you're feeding more into that and right?
Right, but you also can't deny it, right? Years ago, before I even did any spiritual studies, I used to say the way you feel is the way you feel, right? And so if you're feeling that negativity or you're feeling, sadness, we're all going to always feel sadness. But if you're feeling that negativity and you feel like it's driving your bus, then you need to take a step back and say, okay, what's going on inside of me that I'm viewing this? Because it's always going to show you something that you can heal within yourself. Because, you know, bottom line, if we could remain connected to our divine source energy, to our God self, and whatever that is for you, universe, you know, whatever, then we would never experience any of that. But we're not, you know, we're here walking this earth, we're in a body, you know, we have an emotional body, we're doing all of that. So what we need to look at is, what is it showing me within myself that I'm ready to release and let go of and to heal? That makes sense?
Yeah. Because I think a lot of, you know, people I know have a lot of fear about, you know, coming out, right? Or being known as someone who's spiritual, who does energy work, or, you know, I have a couple friends of mine that mentioned that they, you know, they don't want to put that message out there, and they're afraid of being trolled. Or, you know, it's being so sensitive, like how, you know, there's just a lot of fear around stepping out and being seen.
But you know, it's so easy nowadays. Listen, you know, I'm 65 years old. I don't like telling anybody how old I am. I'm proud of it, you know. And when I was younger, I would have thought that I was a freaking weirdo. I would have said, oh, exactly. God, I thought I was a fringe person. But if you look around today, more and more people are opening up to their spirituality. Think about this: Oprah, Tony Robbins, all of these, and they're mainstream people, talk about the spiritual practice that they have in their life. That wasn't the case when I was young. So the world is becoming more and more open to it. And that's why more and more people are recognizing their gifts, right? And saying, well, I got this gift, but I'm not really sure what to do with it. And, you know, that's just your ego trying to hold you back and make you afraid of something. And, you know, you don't know if you don't try. So, and we have the internet. You see what we're doing right here today? I mean, listen, when I was young, think about this morning. When I was young, okay, we had our television was
still young, honey. You're still young.
It was this big. It was black and white. And oh my God, we had to literally get up and walk across the room to change to one of the other 3 stations. Right? So because that's all we had. So if you look at how technology has just, wow, and really over the past, you know, like I said, I'm 65, so let's say over the past 50 years, it's incredible. The 50 years prior to that, it was more industrial, right? Yeah. So it's gone. So now that there's the technology, we can find people who think like us. Mm-hmm. You're not sequestered into your own small community. Mm-hmm. It's a global community now, right? So all you have to do is own it and step out there. And I keep being, I wanted to tell this story. I managed a print and mail company, okay? And there was a guy who came in, and he came in to try and sell us plates for the press, okay? Which isn't really the important part. But he said, you know, I'm not trying to take the business away from somebody else. Let me be your backup person. And he was just the sweetest, you know, gentlest little man. Well, he ended up being the one who provided it because the other guy did something really squirrely. So anyway, he came in, he was sitting in my office, and we talked about something. And I don't remember which one of us said it first, but one of us used the G word, okay? We said something about God. And after that, it's like, it kind of like opened up that whole communication thing, right? Now, most people would think you don't do that at work. You don't say that. But it's like once you admit it and once you open up to it, you're going to be amazed how many other people in your life are open up to it, but they're afraid to say something.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like anything that we think is a social stigma. Think about today what it is like for gay people. Seriously, the LGBT community. Mm-hmm. Years ago, they were in the closet, and not just in a small way, in a huge way. Right? You didn't talk about that. Oh my God! When they released the movie, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the guy who invented the first computer. He wrote the code to fit. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And they couldn't talk about it because it was all sealed. It was during World War II, And he did the machine that would actually, like interpret. And that's really, they attribute that to part of why we won the war.
Yeah, I can't think of the title of the movie, but I know you're talking about.
Cumberbatch, is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, he was fabulous in it. But when I watched that movie and I thought about how sad that was in his life, that he couldn't be who he was, right? Mm-hmm. Today, he could absolutely be who he is. People can be, in corporate America, mm-hmm. people can be openly who they are. Mm-hmm. So if you think about that, I mean, that was a social stigma. And we think for some reason that being a spiritual person is a social stigma, and it's not. It really isn't. Mm-hmm. Because once you open up, once you step into that well, just like for you, when you finally owned it, didn't you start having a lot more people in your life go, yeah, I get that, I do that,
Absolutely. I tried, every way I could to avoid being that person, because I felt like it wasn't okay to be like that out in the open,
it wasn't acceptable.
Yeah.
Maybe who we really are.
I know. Well, I was like, oh, they're going to make fun of me or whatever, and I, even as a kid, I knew I was different than other people, and I just didn't understand. And now I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, it's great.
This is me.
Yeah, I'm excited about it now. I feel finally like this is me. Like I feel like I'm finally me. Finally acknowledging my gifts and who I am really has been so incredibly empowering for myself.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm. But I think people have to be, connect with that and be able to step out and just take that first baby step, whatever that is. And I, that's why I created my Facebook group for. That's why I have that group, is because I want to help people like feel comfortable. So I'm inviting people in my own group to like do Facebook Lives and share their gifts and talk about their wisdom and all that, because it's like if they're in a safe space, and then they can kind of go out from there. So,
right. It's funny, but even within my own family, and I don't mind sharing this story, like I have a brother and he's very intuitive. He just doesn't own it the way I do, which is fine. We all have our path. But I used to, I lived in Indiana for a couple of years, and I'd want to go to the metaphysical bookstore to pick something up. And he'd say, oh, you want me to take you to the Hokey Pokey store? And so, I was really, I wouldn't talk about any of this in front of him. I was really very cautious about what I said and what I did. Now I could care less. And then I don't mean could care less in a bad way.
Right.
I mean, very open with him about what I do, what I say. Mm-hmm. It's like I did something, an ebook that's called Soul Story Transformations, because it's how a soul story can help you transform. And he said, well, shouldn't it be, he reworded it to where it meant something entirely different. And I went, oh, well, you don't understand what I do. So I explained it to him. A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have done that. I would have hidden it from him. Mm-hmm. So we all do it in our own way. And I was okay in the public at that point in time, but it wasn't within my own family. Isn't that funny?
Isn't it? Right?
Yeah,
I know. A lot of people feel that way. They don't know how to tell their families. It's true.
Of course. Yeah. So, but hey.
Here we are.
And, just if you don't want to tell them, that's fine too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my mom was a medium, and she was, she was very psychic, and we had people coming in and out of our house all the time when I was a kid, and, people would get palm readings, and she would do energy drawings, and, we would have literally ashtrays moving around, and we had a fruit bowl on the dining room table, and by the fruit that fell, I still have the fruit bowl, by the way. And the fruit is plastic fruit. No, it's plastic fruit. It's hilarious. But if the banana was on the table, it was because, my grandfather was there. Or if it was the cherries, it was my grandmother. Or some, it was always, my mother could, like, it was code, for like who was in the house. And we would come home and she would be like, oh, look, Wilma was here today or whatever. So it was just, I grew up with that. And that's just, it seemed normal to me. I was like, okay, like, why wouldn't I believe it? But then when I went to school and I would tell people my mother could levitate tables, I was like, it just became, it became a source.
They're like, you're crazy, you're wacky, no. No,
Totally.
no, run away.
Totally. I mean, even to this day, I hesitate to tell people that, my mom levitated tables, because it's like, really, I don't know, but we would do the Ouija board, and it just, it was great. I loved it. Coming out was
really turned your back on it because of the fear. The world teaches us how to be fearful. And back to the whole thing about chaos. That's why we see so much chaos, is because we are taught how to be fearful. We are not taught how to empower ourselves. And that's what I'm passionate about. I don't need to empower myself. Yes. I know how to be empowered, but I want you to know how to do that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So that's a perfect segue. So you have this really awesome program, and we all have this amazing opportunity to work with you, and it's called Maneuvering Through Chaos. And I think I can, give me one sec. I want to share my screen.
Okay.
If I can do this. Hang on one second. Okay. Where am I? I love technology. I love just making it up as I go along.
That's fine. Hey, it's when I first started doing healing sessions, I'm laughing at myself. I used to go tape over the doorbell. Do not ring bell. Do not knock on door. Heaven forbid somebody knows I live a life, right?
Right, exactly. So I love technology, but I also, I laugh at myself because I can't, sometimes it's like too much. But anyway, so we're here we are. And this is the page, you guys. I'm going to put the link in the comments. I'm going to post this on Facebook, and you can connect with this on the link. But basically, this is your program. Connecting with Soul is your business, right? And Maneuvering Through Chaos. So tell me, there's a video of Sharon. So tell me a little bit about the program. What are people going to do? What are we going to learn?
So here's the thing, and I want people to understand this. A lot of times we don't sign up for stuff because we think, I don't have time for that, right? And I found, like in the past, that if it had big old long things, some people would buy it and just let it sit there. And I don't want that to happen. So there's going to be 4 parts to it, and they're only going to be like about 30 minutes, okay? But what you're going to take away from it, you're going to actually use in your everyday life, okay? I'm going to give you experiential things for you to do, to know, how do I bring this in to what I'm doing in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to have two times that I do Q&A calls. And so that's when you can connect one-on-one with me to get clarity on anything maybe in the program that's not necessarily struggling with, or you need more clarity, or just you want to make sure that you got it right. We can't be wrong, but a lot of times, we're all human, and so we go, I don't know if I'm looking at this right or not. So you need clarity on it, right? So, and that's another thing. When you sign up, there's the very first thing to do is I'm laughing, but I created a PowerPoint called this thing called ego, because and I say this in the PowerPoint, a friend of mine, she'd been following me for years. And one day she finally said, what do you mean when you say ego? I hear everybody say it. I don't really know what it means. And I thought, oh my God, if you miss that and you don't know what I'm talking about, when I, discern between your divine self and your ego self, then you miss all the other stuff. So I created a PowerPoint to explain what I mean when I say ego. And that's on there right away. You can watch that right away.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, because ego, I think, is, it is a little bit misunderstood, right? I mean.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And some people, I guess most spiritual teachers mean the same thing, but that doesn't mean that somebody who's listening to you understands what you mean when you say it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's about, so because I like the fact that you said it's like people don't have a lot of time, and that they want something fast so they can kind of consume and use. The important thing is to use it right away, right? It's like something that's going to help you.
Right. Then you go on and life gets in the way and you forget about it. I mean, I've done it, So it's important to me. Like I said, my whole focus is totally shift to empowering you. And so I got the message loud and clear. In order to do that, make it palatable. right? I mean, I have one person I follow. I absolutely love her writing, but it's like every time I get an email, it's like 5 pages, and I just print it out to read later, and then half the time I don't. You know, it's like it's TMI, right?
Right.
Because this, I mean, like what we're doing now with the information age, you know, there's so much information that we do have to pick and choose what we listen to, right?
Right.
But the important part here, though, is that it's experiential for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're actually walking through something and experiencing it right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you go, oh, I see that. I get that. Yeah, I'm going to pay attention to that for the next couple of days.
Right. And it happens. So it starts next week.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. And people can access it through this link that I'm going to post at the bottom of the interview. You'll see the link to it. You can click on the link and buy it. It's great.
And if they have any questions, they can just send me an email. Just send it to support@connectingwithsoul.com. And I'm very accessible. I don't hide from people. I don't think I'm any big shot that I have to act like I'm, something special, because I'm not. I just happen to have a good understanding of spiritual principles and how to bring them into your practical life.
Well, that's what I love working with you is you're so practical and you're so down to earth, and you take the spiritual and you put it into action and just making it not only palatable but demonstrable in your life. Like I listen to you and then I actually go do something once we talk about it, which is different, right? I know now. I mean, we can download. I mean, I'm guilty of this as much as the next person, but I'm an information sponge, right? And I always think that the more I can learn, the more I know, the better I'll be. I'm not ready yet to go out and do XYZ. Oh my God, I have to study this new thing.
Right. Well, and most spiritual people are like that. Because we do want to get it, right?
Right. We do.
But then what we do is we hide, and we don't. Like particularly most spiritual people are empathic, right? And so we don't want to go out around people and the noise and the whatever. But like I said, it's not about escaping the world. You came here to help heal.
Right.
You've got to learn how to get out there and be around it and understand yourself and your part in the equation.
Right. Exactly. And I think there's a lot of anxiety that comes along with that, and so, for me, I've had to really ground myself every morning and do meditation and do yoga and whatever that is for me that, helps me embody myself, because being embodied is so important for me.
Right.
And I've just noticed such a change in my ability to then connect and be online and do these videos. I mean, when I started working with you a few years back, I hated being on video, right? I mean, there was nothing you could say to me.
It's like you would have rather, gone and got a root canal.
I would have rather walked on glass or stuck a hot poker in my eye than showed up on video. And, and I know that's ridiculous, ludicrous. Like, and and it's like at some point you just have to ask yourself, what is wrong with, what if you just chose to take action with it instead of, thinking about it all the time? So it's like,
I think that's for a fear of being seen. I think a lot of us have a fear of being seen. We don't, when I became successful in my business is when I gave myself permission to be wrong and to not know. Because we think we have to know everything, right?
Do.
And I'm okay with saying, no, I don't know. I got nothing. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be right.
Be in the mystery of it. I mean, I don't know, and I don't know where, my own business is going. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. And I think that stopped me a lot of times from telling people I was in business or telling people that I was starting a business, because I didn't have the answers to everything,
Yeah, we want to see the whole picture, right? I love, I think it was Martin Luther who said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step in faith. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and then Jack Canfield in the movie The Secret said you can drive from New York to Los Angeles only seeing 300 feet in front of you from the headlights.
Yeah,
it's like but we want to know, right? Here's the thing.
I love it.
The universe can have such a better idea and outcome than you do. I was thinking yesterday, I live in Arizona now, and I'm originally from New Orleans. And I left New Orleans to move to Indiana for a job, and then I got laid off, and blah blah blah. It's a big old long story. But I was sitting in my house. I love my house. I have a beautiful office. I have a yard with a pool, and I have a back porch swing, and it's big and it's pretty, and I love it. And if I had stayed where I was in New Orleans, I was just thinking about what my life would have been like had I stayed there. And it would have so not been as beautiful as this. So not been this way, right? And I'd probably have had a ton of illnesses because I was just stagnant, right?
Right. That's the other thing, is getting stagnant in your body and having illnesses. I mean, when I started out as a kid, right, first of all, I was born without hip sockets. Okay. So I didn't walk till I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And that, that's a big deal, right? But you know what? If I hadn't been grounded that way, I don't know that I'd be like, I guess I must agree that, it's like I needed to be grounded because I'm so I'm an Aquarian, and I'm just so up, in my seventh chakra all the time. But it's like, and then I had all these illnesses, and I had allergies, I had this, I had that, I had back problems. I had all my life, Sharon. I mean, even up to the point when I had a hysterectomy when I was 43. I had hormonal problems, all kinds of stuff. I had tons of reasons not to do what I thought I should be doing. You know what I mean? And and that's what happens when you get stagnant. And I have a lifetime of that. And I feel like now I have a whole new trajectory. I feel like I've changed the course of my life just by taking ownership of my body and my health and what I put in my body and how I exercise and all of that. And I'm not here to preach about,
Right. No, I get it. But it's just a point that, at one point in my life, I think I took like 7 medications, and
right.
I don't need them now, but it's not because I don't want people, it's not because I just said, oh, I don't need that. I'm not a, Christian Scientist, one of those. But it was just the point that when you're stagnant in your life, it's going to show up in every area of your life, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. That's exactly the point. It shows up in every area of your life. So, yeah. So you guys, don't hesitate to work with Sharon. Sign up for her program. It's incredibly affordable. It's $97. It's $97. And you get to work with Sharon. And she is just a gem and brilliant woman. And I just love her. And I've, really.
And I promise you this, it could change your life. And if you don't have $97 to change your life, go work for somebody and be miserable. I don't know.
No, I mean, seriously, $97.
You are working for somebody else. And I want people to understand this. Even if you are working for somebody else, if you do this inner work, things there may unfold for you entirely differently.
Exactly.
I've worked with a lot of clients that were miserable with their boss, and when they did this inner work, things shifted and changed it. Either he got promoted and left, or they could see him through different eyes. It truly can create miracles in your life.
Yes. I am here to say that's so true. And I've been working with Sharon for a few years now, and I love her, and she's amazing. And you guys do not want to miss this opportunity to work with Sharon yourself. So have at it. Take a look at the link below, and then, message her if you have any questions. support@connectingwithsoul.com, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. You changed your business name recently, so I want to make sure.
I used to do everything under SharonHess.com, and I sat and I thought about it. I said, if I'm going to empower other people, then I need to kind of like take my ego out of the equation. Okay. That's why I did that.
Yeah. Okay. But you're still Sharon Hess?
I am.
Great. Okay. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And, shoot me an email. I'm Melissa@redhotnow.com or Sharon, support@connectingwithsoul.com. And if you have any questions, let us know. But, have a look at the program, and I highly recommend you sign up for it. It's going to be amazing, and it will change your life. Thank you for joining me, Sharon.
Thank you, Melissa. Bye, everybody. Bye.
It was so much fun. I enjoyed this so much. Thank you. Okay. Bye.